You're watching UTV, TV for you.
Good evening, and if it is Saturday Sports Night. Of course, I am your presenter, Anthony de Beauville. As always, you can also join us in our various media platforms, UTV Channel 124, our telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. Pleasant evening to all, both here and abroad. And of course, I simply hope, like always, you had a blessed week, a productive one, and look forward to enjoying the balance of the evening. And of course, tomorrow, Sunday, and look forward to another week. I will start off this evening with some international cricket, and I'm referring to the ICC Women's World Cup final. Six-time ICC Women's Champion Australia, captained by Meg Lanning, will take on four times the winner, England, led by Heather Knight, in the 12th edition of the ICC Cricket Final this evening from 9 p.m. After coming into the World Cup as defending champions from 2017, England had a horror start to the tournament and on the brink of elimination. Their hopes of retaining the trophy were hanging after losing the three opening round-robin matches to Australia, West Indies, and South Africa. How amazing England survived. The two teams made it to the final with wins over West Indies and South Africa in semi-final 1 and 2 earlier this week. In semi-final 1, Australia were at their dominant best against West Indies in the first semi-final on Wednesday. A 216-run open wicket partnership between Alyssa Healy, 129 from 107 balls, and Rachel Haynes, 85 from 100 deliveries, ensured Australia place in the finals as they secured a 157-run win. Scores Australia 305 for free. Healy 129, Haynes 85, Mooney and Lanning 43 and 23 not out respectively. For West Indies, Chanel Henry picked up 2 for 51. West Indies reply 148, all out in 37 overs. Taylor 48 and 34 each to Doughton and Matthews. Bowling for Australia, Jonathan 2 for 14 and 1 wicket each to Schultz, Sutherland, McGrath and Gardner. Meanwhile, England completed a convincing 137-run win over South Africa women in semi-final number 2 at Hagley Oval, Christchurch. Scores England 293 for 8. Danny Wyatt 129, Sophia Dunkley 60, Amy Jones 28. Bowling for South Africa, Shanib Ismail 3 for 46, Marizan Kapp 2 for 52, and Masaba Bata Kloss 2 for 55. South African reply 156 all out in 38 overs. Mignon Duprez 30, Lana Godall 28 and 21 each to Luss, Kapp and Chetty. Bowling for England, Sophie Ellerstone 6-46. The ICC final between England and Australia is a rivalry that has entrenched not only in cricket but also world sport. This is one you don't want to miss. Like I said, first ball 9 p.m. this evening. And just a bit of history, St. Lucia. The ICC Women Cricket World Cup is the oldest women cricket tournament as in one-day internationals format. The first ICC Cricket World Cup was held in 1973 in England, and also England won it. Australia Women is the most successful team, having won the World Cup, the world title 6 times, followed by England Women Cricket Team 4 times, and New Zealand team in 2000. The West Indies, yes, you're right, the West Indies finished second in 2014, and they were defeated by Australia in the final by 114 runs. Staying with cricket, and I'm referring to the international scene, on the men's side of things, and if you miss it, Craig Brathwaite-led West Indies team defeated England in Grenada by 10 wickets to take the three-match epic Test Series 1-0. Scores: England 204 and 120, West Indies 297 and 28 without loss. Brathwaite was the leading batsman in the series with 341 runs and was named the epic player of the series. Joshua Da Silva was named the epic man of the match for his remarkable maiden Test Series 100 got out. The first and second Test played in Antigua and Barbados ended in a draw. At the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium in Antigua, Australia 311 and 349 for 6 declare, West Indies 375 and 147 for 4. At Kensington Oval in Barbados, Australia 507 for 9 declared and 185 for 6 declared. West Indies 411 and 135 for 5. Like I said earlier, the West Indies winning at the third and final test in Grenada by 10 wickets. Congrats to the West Indies. News coming out of St. George's, Grenada. Cricket authorities in Grenada are satisfied that they have delivered what they promised, and they are looking forward to future opportunities to stage international matches at the National Cricket Stadium in St. George's. President of the Grenada Cricket Association, Dwayne Gill, said the result and the organization of the deciding third test between West Indies and England that ended on Sunday were a resounding success. Though the Spice Isle is not currently in MAP to host any international matches for the remainder of 2022, Gill said he and his team were open to any opportunities because they had again proven the efficiency and effectiveness. I'm quite satisfied with how everything turned out. We were going to prepare a pitch that would produce a result, and though some people were of the view that it was uneven, there was no advantage to any team. We got what we wanted, which was a result, and fortunately West Indies won. And apart from that, we have had no complaints whatsoever from anyone, the teams or spectators. Rest assured, Gil, I had no complaints, What I know, I took one away from Joe Root. I simply hope he hung in a thread now for his captaincy. All through West Indies. After 4-0 against Australia earlier, and then 1-0 in the Caribbean, 17 defeats. Boy, I'm sorry for him, More cricket news. The Providence Stadium in Guyana will host the finals of the Hero Caribbean Premier League CPL from this year until 2024. This season, Guyana will host 7 group games, 3 knockout matches, and the Hero CPL final, which will take place on Friday, 30th September at the Guyana National Stadium in Providence. The actual tournament starts on August 30th and will run up until September 30th. Athletics news. And of course, the St. Lucia Athletics Association is pleased to announce that a 5-member team has been selected by the technical committee headed by Henry Bailey. The team will represent St. Lucia at the 49th edition of the Carifta Games in Jamaica. The games are carried for Kingston, Jamaica at the Jamaica National Stadium and are scheduled to run from Saturday 16th to Sunday 18th April 2022. The following provides a list of team members and the categories in which they will compete. Under 17 girls, Naomi London, pace setters, 100 meters. Under 20 boys, Kylian Vitalis, who is currently in Jamaica and attending Kingston College, is a member of the Sprint Printing Survivors Track and Field Club, will compete in the 110-meter hurdles. Girls 20, Natalie Albert, like Vitalis, is attending the St. Catherine High School. She's a member of the Sprint Printing Survivors Track and Field Club. Natalie will compete in the javelin event. In the open category, Jeremiah Felix and Ratin James, both from Monipo Athletic Club, will compete in the pole vault. In Jamaica, the 5-member team will be under the watchful eyes of team coach Makiba Alcide and Andy Bell. The team manager is Dora Henry. Team St. Lucia leaves for Jamaica on Thursday 14th April via Hiranora International Airport. Earlier, I had a chit-chat with the St. Lucia President, Athletic Association President, and I'm referring to Cornelius Brin. He wishes the team well while in Jamaica. In terms of numbers, he would have loved to have a larger contingent. Hopefully, in 2023, the team will be larger with the development program they are looking to implement. As the norm, we at UTV, Channel 124, wish Team St. Lucia every success. I will take my first break. When I return, I have some local football news for you, followed by a call in which is the president of the Choiseul Football League. I'll be right back. Welcome back. A quick look at some football news. The St. Lucia Football Association President Cup kicked off not too long ago at the Philip Master Ground in Vifort. Currently on the pitch, Shambhala from Vifort South is taking on Peter Travel from Dennery. Following the first encounter at 8 p.m., Pamphers from Soufrière will play the neighbors Black Eagles out of Choiseul. And of course, I will be getting in touch with my first calling guest, and I'm referring to Shemlin Albert. Of course, Shemlin is the president of the Choiseul Football League. And as you're aware that Choiseul, they've just started their tournament. I think they're into week number 2. And they have a game tomorrow. And I will be talking to Shemlin Albert in we'll be talking to her. I think Shemlin, she has represented St. Lucia in the 2017 in track and field. I will get back in touch with her in a short while. But in doing so, I will turn my attention now to some boxing news. And of course, in terms of, I should look at some, since we were talking football, people, let's look at some World Cup news. World Cup football. And the countdown is on. 232 days to go, St. Lucia. Well, like you know, it's no secret, my World Cup team, and I'm still the defending champion, and that's France. All right? I don't know about you. The groups are set. Now the 242 days countdown is on. There will be 64 games over 28 days in 8 stadiums, all within 50 kilometers of Qatar capital, Doha. Coaches, players, and fans alike, including St. Lucia. We're not counted out of that at all. All right? 7 months to go to scout the opposition. Of course, Group A will be made up of host Qatar, Netherlands, Senegal, and Ecuador. Of course, Qatar, they will face Ecuador in the curtain raiser on Monday, 21st November. Group B, England, USA, Iran. Wales have already advanced to the final of the playoff branch, while Scotland and Ukraine semi-final has been postponed to June because of Russia's invasion. But if either Wales or Scotland advance to the World Cup in Qatar, it will be a huge game for either nations playing against their big rivals. England. Wales last qualified for the World Cup way back in 1958, while Scotland's last appearance came in 1998. Group C, the Lionel Messi fans. Argentina was drawn with Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Group D, France, of course, France, Denmark, and Tunisia. And there's an intercontinental playoff, Peru versus United Arab Emirates or Australia. Group E, Spain, Germany, Japan, Costa Rica, and New Zealand. They set to battle it out on Tuesday, 14th June for a place in Qatar, knowing victory will reward them with a group featuring 2 of the last 3 World Cup winners, which is Spain and Germany. Interestingly, Japan will be appearing at the 7th consecutive World Cup. Group F, Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, and Canada. Group G, Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia, and Cameroon. Group H, Portugal, the Ronaldo fans. Group H, Uruguay, South Korea, and Ghana. You Portugal fans, I'll leave you for Ghana. All right? Always remember, St. Lucia, France is a team to beat. I just started to cause a flame. With 242 days to go, St. Lucia. Pick your team. All right? Like I said, you know our WhatsApp platform and, of course, our various platforms to get us. But remember, France. Okay. Now, listen to this. Meanwhile, England and Netherlands, Argentina and France will all find themselves on the same side of the draw should they progress from the groups, all right? The other half could see matchups between footballing powerhouses such as Spain, Germany, Belgium, Brazil, and Portugal, all right? So, St. Lucia, it's right down your alley, okay? Let's look at a little. Before I bring in my in-studio guests, let's have a quick look at some boxing news. And St. Lucia, I want to, if you recall last week and the week before, I mentioned the comments made by the president of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee when he said, I want to be exact, you know. I want to be exact because I'm going to read something, a paragraph here for you all, and you all will be amazed. All right? Just give me a second here. When he said, it's coming up. When the president of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee said, and listen, I'm only quoting something here. I'm not going right for everything. We also want our members to recognize the fact that with the limited resources that are made available to them, they will have to show slip. And I'm referring to Alfred, right? The St. Lucia Olympic Committee, Inc. is demanding performances on the field of play It cannot be another outing again. He added, we are not accepting the notion that we are financing teams to leave these shows to gain experience. I repeat. He added, we are not accepting the notion that we are financing teams to leave these shows to gain experience. Listen to this carefully. You gain experience at home. You show that you prepared for regional and international competition, and the SLOC Inc. will help you along. Trips for experience is no more under the SLOC. We sent 2 boxers to Ecuador last week. They competed last week, Friday and Tuesday. And I want you to hear in an interview, and Stan Bishop was down in Ecuador. And Stan Bishop is the public relations officer for the St. Lucia Olympic Committee. And he interviewed this boxer, and I'm referring to Regis. All right? And let me read for you. One local boxer who this week participated in the AMBC Elite Men and Women Continental Championship in Ecuador, in an interview with the SLOC Public Relations Officer, Stan Bishop said, listen, St. Lucia, this tournament produced some much needed experience for me. I repeat, this tournament produced some much needed experience for me, said the young boxer who trains regularly at the VG Boxing Gym. I'm a little bit disappointed with the outcome, but the experience, I repeat, but the experience was much needed. Experience played a huge part in my loss, but I walked out with my head high, knowing that I represented St. Lucia to the best of my ability. Regis, kudos to you. You see the last part, the last word you said there? I walked out with my head high, knowing that I represented St. Lucia to the best of my ability. Well done, son. But I just want also to remember, you can't always stay here and gain experience. And in Regis' interview with Stan Bishop, on 3 occasions, he mentioned experience. And Regis has been in the ring. He has represented St. Lucia before. Meaning that he's a superweight, heavyweight. Regis is mapped to represent St. Lucia at the Commonwealth Games sometime in July, August. All right? This year in England. Birmingham, England. All right? And of course, he will need that exposure to go out. If he is to medal, that one fight in Ecuador is nothing. And you expect him to come here and just box in the ring? No. He will need that experience to go out, Mr. Emmanuel. Like I said, the people around you need to distance themselves from your statement, Mr. Emmanuel. Okay? The proof is in the eating. And the young boxer said it. Experience. I will take my second break. But when I come back, I will be talking to my guests and be talking rugby. I'll be right back.
ba oli à madame là. Bel piment, banane pour faire bouillon, j'en mou.
Non merci, moi pas vle.
Sale. Give me your money and get my produce. Sale. J'ai moins $5 tout sel.
Ma ve.
Tony celery, ti l'oignon. Sale. Cette ici, c'est moins disons. Nous tous besoin de tourisme. C'est pas moun qui ka travaille en hôtel tout seul qui ka dépend en lay. À présent, bagay mauvais. Mais nous kay continuer planter et bagay kay vin meilleur. En nous vini ensemble. Supporter yon alot et goumer bagay Covid ça là.
Vaccinate, wear a mask, wash your hands, and maintain a 6-feet distance. If we keep St. Lucia safe, we can keep our economy running.
Hi there, everyone. This is an exclusive hot.
You're watching UTV TV for you.
Protocols for international visitors while in St. Lucia. The following protocols are established to guide the stay of all guests while on island in order to mitigate any possible spread of infection. During the first 14 days, visitors are allowed to patronize approved beaches, restaurant, sea and land excursions, and sites and attractions. All visits are scheduled and pre-arranged by their respective accommodation providers. During this period, all visitors will be transported to and from the certified sites using only COVID-19 certified tourism transportation. After the first 14 days, if any visitor wishes to stay on island beyond the 14-day period, they must apply for and receive a health clearance certificate from the Ministry of Health. Visitors will be allowed to travel, be out in the wider public and patronize local businesses unsupervised once health clearance certificates have been received. During their entire stay, visitors must wear their masks whenever they are in public places and maintain the mandatory 6 feet distancing from others.
It's your boy Dove Tufani and Noah says.
And Noah C. And we're locked on to
UTV.
I don't always watch TV.
But when we do,
It's always you.
TV.
Yeah.
Channel 124.
It's a rich channel. Network.
Yeah. Welcome back. Well, of course, St. Lucia. Somebody does WhatsApp me something there, and I want to say it. I must really feel. If the president of the Olympic Committee said no money will be given to gain experience, how did the Boxing Association get money for its boxers to gain experience in Ecuador? Also, note the PRO of the SLOC traveled to Ecuador. I have no quarrels with the PRO traveling. He is a writer, and I must say thank you, Stan, for all the information that you sent to me while in Ecuador, the pictures and so on. Thank you very much. Keep it up. I mean, St. Lucia Stan was my former editor at another organization. All right. So all due respect to him. But WhatsApp person, I really appreciate that, and I simply hope the SLOC can open the eyes and have Alfred to withdraw the statement in terms of experience. All right. I'm not calling Alfred, but when you talk nonsense, I will tell you straight you talk nonsense. And if you listen to Regis, the young boy, 21 years, said that it was an experience for him. And he's going to prepare now for Commonwealth Games. So he must go out again. And it's a must to go out. And even the coach, Conrad Frederick, said there was not enough fight or ring time for these guys. You understand? For Motley and Regis. So like I said, we need to ensure our athletes are well prepared. And not only in St. Lucia, they have to go out and prepare and compete against the other people outside there. That's the only way we can be world beaters. You expect to be with limited events taking place in St. Lucia based on the various national federations, sporting wise, and you expect us now to go and compete at the highest level? No, we have to go out and compete at the regional level and outside the region. We gain experience. Mr. President, I thought last week you were part and parcel of Haiti's Olympic Committee election, an offer sent to you by NACAC, North America, South American, Caribbean. Of course, that was an experience for you. So come on, let's be real, Alfred Emmanuel. All right. Okay. He's a former rugby technical director of Trinidad and Tobago. He was recently appointed member of the Rugby Americas, North Executive, a World Rugby coach educator, also a representative for Category C in Rugby Americas. He's presently working on capacity building for the St. Lucia Rugby Football Union by developing programs to educate and certification of coaches and officials. His goal is to get the sport of rugby into the school system. Also on the table, his plans are to develop the youth players, in the 16 to 19 age categories for 2023 regional competition. This evening, my esteemed guest, and of course, St. Lucia, I missed out something. A former soldier, all right? Former soldier. Good evening, Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne Panther, Technical Director of the St. Lucia Football Union. Union, yeah. Welcome again.
Thank you.
All right. Wayne, I've been trying to get you, how many years now? 2 years?
2 years, and we're back with COVID and so on.
Yeah, COVID and thing, Yeah, but I guess you refresh, you were out for a little while in the States.
Yeah.
You refresh now and you're all set, running on all cylinders.
Yes. Eager to get back out there and develop players.
I mean, what you up to, Wayne?
So presently, with just to give an update with St. Lucia's Rugby Football Union, the two things that we worked on between the COVID period is actually trying to get them into full membership with the World Rugby. So we are at stage 3 in that process where they are reviewing the documents to go to the final council meeting in November. So the process, we have to actually send our paperwork 6 months before the actual time. For me personally, on the island, I've been reintroducing the sport into the school system, basically concentrating on the southern part of the island. The kids are favorable for it, and from that process, I'm trying to select candidates to go forward to be in our under 16 and under 19 academy in preparation for tournaments next year.
Okay. I mean, like you said earlier, COVID/2 years out of action. When you first came into St. Lucia, into the national setting, and now, are you satisfied with what you've seen at the national level in terms of the level of training, participation, and championships?
Well, for the national program, I would say there are challenges because of the whole COVID restrictions and so on. And again, we had to adapt or let's say remodel our macro and micro plans in the sense of player development. So technically, from our strategic plan that we had before, in the absence of COVID, those under 19 programs and school programs, those players would have been actually in the national structure at this time. So now that we kind of revamping and restructuring, is basically getting the older players who were dormant for the COVID period as per se, back into getting into competitions, strength and conditioning and so on, so that we would be able to be competitive for the 2022 and 2023 competitions.
Okay. You part and parcel of the North Rugby North executive. I mean, how much you believe the sport of rugby, will benefit St. Lucia?
All right, so I could answer that in two phases. Yeah. So, casting back to, let's say, about 2016, 2017, St. Lucia was basically considered one of the lower regions in the sense of ranking for the sport. Under the stewardship of Roger Butcher and his supporting executive and the national coaches at that time, they were able to go into certain competitions and basically raise the eyebrows, right? And bringing it forward to me being included into the program now, I would have brought a different element in the sense of international exposure from the coaching elements. So although we're doing the capacity building with the players, meaning that the players go out and play at a competition a bit higher than them, you also have to build the administrative structure around those players. And coming out of that, they went to the Olympic qualifiers in Cayman Islands, where they missed out on qualifying to the rapid charge by 1 point. So checking our team going into a competition at like say ranked 12th to come out of the competition third, it's a major leap, and we must give kudos to the players for sacrificing it and preparing one, and also the amateurs in comparison to some other places where there's semi-professional contracts and so on. And so bringing it forward to what we're dealing with now is that they are on the threshold of actually being the #1 in the region in the sense of the female version of the game. The males in a rebuilding program in the context that once it is we get those younger players to mix in with the senior players. Also we have some international players outside showing with heritage to the island, showing interest in actually coming back and participating or representing St. Lucia. So in that aspect, we are at a pinnacle that we can just rocket out into the universe.
Okay, but like you just said, the women now rank 1.
Third.
There's no ranking for the men.
No, well, in the sense of the ranking, because of the fact that the male has not participated in competitions. So let's say the last competition they would have taken part actually would have been 2018, right, as an official Rugby American tournament. So they would not be in the ranking because they will only rank up the first 12.
And I'm not sure whether it's like netball. Netball, you must play a netball series. How many matches or championship they must play to get ranked?
All right, so under World Rugby, they would rank the first 150 teams worldwide. In the region, they would rank 1 to 12, right? Okay. So in the sense of tournaments, it all depends on the forecast of events for that particular year or particular period. Like say, for instance, in the 15-a-side version of the game, they would have played St. Vincent in 2019, where that score would have been 55 to 14. So they were supposed to go on to play either Barbados or Curacao in 2020, and then COVID hit and so on. So that went on the back burner. So that also is things that will have to happen in the near future.
Okay. You just quickly mentioned the school program, and you're referring to the north of the island. But I just want to take you to another level. In terms of introducing the sport to the schools, is there a delegation, a party to meet with the various stakeholders like the Ministry for Education and Ministry of Sports? Interestingly, Wayne, the Minister for Education is a former sports minister, and the present sports minister, Kenton Kazimi, is equally excited about sports, and I'm certainly sure the two will embrace another sport in the fold. Your first on that?
All right, so far I would say that all the support we have been getting from the ministry and stakeholders has been positive in the sense of the dialogue that I would have with school principals and PE teachers and so on. From the aspect of the kids, they are enthusiastic and they're showing the willingness to learn. What we basically doing is, again, I say, having a partnership where it is we would also incorporate with the capacity building, we actually teaching the kids that there's also something over the field. So in the sense, my vision or my how to put it, my words to them is that there's scholarship being offered, right? We presently have 2 persons from the island away in the US on scholarship. So once it is they can balance the academic with the sporting activity, there's a pathway. Also, I am a philosopher of kids playing multiple sports. So I'm not there to take them away from the track and field or take them away from the football or the basketball or whatever. It's basically holding the skills that they could transcend into a different sporting avenue. So in that context, all the dialogue that we've been having with the ministry and I said other sporting persons, everybody have been assisting with making the final product.
Okay. Because the reason why I said that's unusual, in terms of the rugby, we have the traditional, and listen to me carefully, the traditional track and field, football, cricket, netball, basketball, table tennis, all right, don't mistake the two. Table tennis, at one time we used to see lawn tennis, it's tennis, all right, and swimming. I'm just trying to figure whether I missed out any, but these are the traditional sports played within the school system. But I would like the Foreign Sports Association to step up to the plate, and I'm referring to squash, badminton, karate, bodybuilding. I don't know last time I spoke to the president of bodybuilding. They in discussion with the ministry, both ministries, sports and education, and I'm referring to Jacqueline Trim. Karate recently, well, last year June, they went to France or Paris to get qualified for the Olympic. Karen Sifley just missed out, unfortunately. And badminton, I know there's something going on right now at the Sports Academy, all right? And I would love to see squash back. So the young men and women have many more opportunities from the actual, under the SOLC banner I'm referring because at the Olympic, we have been represented by sailing, swimming, and track and field. So I simply hope, between now and the next 4 years, in fact, how should I put it? The next Olympic, France or Paris, 2024. All right? Then 2028, St. Lucia, come on. I believe we or the various sports association presidents, please make something happen. All right? Rugby is right now taking it to the schools. Bodybuilding at some point. Let's make something happen. So the young men and women will have a number of sporting disciplines. And if you realize you have the changeover from netball to rugby, you have a few persons who have left netball. Not definitely left, but they play crossover. Mm-hmm. You have the Makiba Al-Sid and so on. So St. Lucia, come on, we can do it. All right. In terms of the school system, what age group you interested in? Is it the primary or secondary school students you're looking at?
Right. So again, just in the dialogue that is mentioned a little while ago, the union has also taken up a challenge of being a team sport to qualify for the Olympics and Pan Am Games and these games. And with that in mind, we have those same 2 targets in the sense of 2024, 2028. Right. So we have the school getting into rugby programs in the primary schools. We have it in the secondary schools, and for the the August holidays, we are actually going to target the kindergartens to do something called Baby Bees. Baby Bees. So they will just be doing fundamental stuff with the rugby ball. So the ideology behind it is that at each particular age group or age grade, they would have some understanding or basic knowledge of what a rugby ball is and the basic fundamental of the sport. And then again, as I said, we identify persons and we challenge them through the academy, which in a sense prepares them for the Olympic qualifiers and so on. Like presently, the senior team, male and female, they are preparing for, the women are preparing for a 12-a-side competition in Jamaica in July. The men would be, and the women would be in Mexico in November in preparation for qualifiers for Casco Games and also Pan Am Games.
Casco Games and Pan Am.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if the St. Lucia Rugby Football Union get a nod, the Ministry of Education and Sport say, okay, we accept what you bring on the table. Let's have a MOU, you know, and which are the championships you intend to go with? Is it the tags 5 or 5s, 7s, 10s or 15s?
Right, so for the schools, they would be introduced at the tag B at 5, right? Then later on, they'll be introduced to tag B at 7. So 7 versus 7, right? Because that will be similar to the 7-a-side version of the game, which is the Olympic version, the Olympic qualifiers. So that's basically it. And from the school system was really for those players to be channeled into the club format. And at the club format now, they would be introduced to tackle. Then they would go on to do 10-a-side version of the game and then 15-a-side version of the game.
Okay. Time flies so quick. 2 years ago, I remember, yes, you know, at Laclery and VG, and even at Coram, the tag 5.
Yes.
No physical, you know. There's 2 tags on your waist, and once, you know, your opponent take them down, you know, you have to search for them and get them back, and that's the only time I think you come back to in play to score.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So I have a little idea, you know. So who knows? You might see me this year.
And again,
with
that version of the game, there's no risk of really no major injuries because it's non-contact. And even with the school system, is about they having fun and enjoying and understanding the fundamental safety of the game, so that when they go into the environment, they'll be able to compete. Because one of the challenges we also have is that when it is they go up against the US teams, let's say, and the teams that are coming from the UK, these individuals start the sport from at the age 5. So when you take somebody now who is already 15 years and then try to teach them, the learning curve is a bit different. So one of the things that we're developing also again is creating pathways for them that it's not only about the sport, as I said, they could also go into the administrative fold of it. So
you said something there. I wanted to repeat it. I'm referring to the age 5. I wanted to repeat that statement again for St. Lucians to hear.
Well, again, in the sport, in the UK and the US, coaching programs would start kids at the age of 5. So they, as I said, they'll be doing the fundamentals with the ball. Or even if it's football, they would be doing the fundamentals with that, and then they go on. So, like for instance, in the UK, they actually play full contact at age 7. Right, and from there they will have players who might be at 12 years of age and they already in the national academy.
And in St. Lucia, most times persons want the children to partake in sports. Some of them late, like 9, 10, some even 12, going into secondary, common entrance into secondary. Okay, secondary, you know your bones kind of, you know. I saw a 4-year-old child swam at the aquatic center 2 years ago. 4 years, you know. And like I've always said, that's the age to start. And we just keep on holding back the children because they're not old enough. No, allow them to have the fun. Like you rightly said, the baby bees, that should be interesting. You know. In fact, when there are certain schools, when they hosting the track and field championship, especially St. Joseph Convent, the kindergarten children, they're into their 25-meter relay. And it's so interesting to see these young people compete. If they're 4 or 5 years, let's roll back 5, 5, another 16 years. No, 5, another 13 years, they'll be 18. So you're looking at persons now looking for at some major championship. You can never tell the talent that we have at that age.
Yeah.
You know, and we keep holding them back. No, let them have fun. I've always said that.
So even with that, in the sense of the aging, you'll find that most of the Caribbean teams, when they go to these championships and so on, so for the region, you'll be comfortable because of the other region, the other countries also have players who are 23, 35, and so on. But when they reach to the actual Olympics and they reach to the main stage, you're competing against under 19. Or like I said, the oldest might be 23. And when they work that out to the scientific part now, in the sense of recovery time, the VO2 max and whatever, it's very hard for a 35-year-old to compete against a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
They may have experience, but at the end of the day, when they reach to the second day of competition, that team will blow you out of the water.
Oh yes, the energy level and
yes,
you know. Come back to the national level. What's the calendar like, or what's the calendar like for the next 8 months?
All right, so as I said, our focus right now would be capacity building, where I'm trying to identify persons from the south of the island to include into the national structure for the qualifiers that we are preparing for. For the national structure in the sense of leagues and so on, in April, the teams would be competing against each other locally, starting off with a beach tournament back into the 5s, and they will go on to 10s and then 7s, close to the tournaments that we're preparing for. So what we're doing basically is mirroring the preparation to the tournaments that we're going to. So say for instance in July we are going to the 12s for the women. Like the month of June would be the 10s version of the game, so that the women will be a competition to be prepared for that particular tournament. And when they come back from that tournament, from July to October would be the 7-a-side version of the game. So the league is actually going to mirror the tournaments that we're preparing for. Also, the St. Lucia Union is also trying to have a tournament called the Carnival Sevens, which is in July. Again, it's to prepare the team for the qualifiers in November, where we would have sent out invitation to teams from Martinique, Trinidad, Guadeloupe, the US. Right, and so far we've been getting favorable response in the sense of they come in to participate in the tournament. So in the sense of even the sports tourism aspect of it.
Yeah, oh yes, indeed.
Right, we try to tie in that into it also.
But you mentioned July. Is there a date for the Carnival Sevens?
Right, so the date we have tentative so far would be the 30th, 31st, and the 1st.
Oh, that will take you into the Emancipation Weekend.
Yes.
Great.
So the reason why we did it, from the sport and tourism standpoint, is that most of the Caribbean countries also have that Emancipation holiday.
Yeah.
So again, we advertise getting the tail end of Carnival.
Yeah.
Right. Then you have a long weekend, include the rugby, the beach, the sand, and so on. So. And that in itself is assisting us trying to get our fundraisers and so on, to assist offsetting some of the costs for these tournaments that we go to.
And what venue you looking at?
So far we're looking at the sub ground. Okay. And it will be between there or the Philip Marcel in Vieux-Fort.
Okay. Yeah, the sub is okay. I mean, if you have it at the sub, I'm not taking nothing away from the south. At the sub, you know, the interest in terms of persons coming to check in the action, that would be just
the logistics for the sub that's why we kind of say that's kind of the ideal position, because again it's close to the beach, it's close to the hotels in the sense of shuttling teams back and forth.
Panto, for most people, rugby appears to be a difficult sport to understand. Explain to my viewers, which players must rank and maul?
Say that again?
Which players you expect to go way up front, and how is it? Yeah.
So basically, to summarize it, is just to say that it's similar to small goal football. So it's about a game of evading contact and gaining ground at the same time. So the objective is to pass the ball back or sideways to your partner. Your partner try to evade or evades the person, run forward and score. So like in the school system, there's just a joke that the kids say, coach, you're coming to teach rough B. right?
Okay.
So in their view, they compare it to American football, where it's a lot of collision and contact. Rugby is not that, because again, there's different rules and regulations, and even under the World Collision Act, World Rugby has revised their whole program in the sense of contact and what is legal and what is illegal. So anything above the torso or the breastplate is considered illegal, as an illegal tackle, or where a person will be penalized.
In fact, I was coming to that. But even if I go to that, in terms of your current preparation, and how is training going on?
Well, the training is there. So at this phase, we are working on the strength and conditioning. So the team, where they usually will, again, persons will see them training on VG Beach on the morning from 9 till about 12, where we do strength and conditioning on the sand with weights, body calisthenics, and so on. There's also a Saturday morning where they go at Sab Ground and they do some hill runs and so on. So again, we're into the strength and conditioning phase, really to get the body up and the physical to go on to the field work. So the field work would be comprised of tactics and skill, where, as I said, we'll try to do it closer to the tournament time, so that the team could have that synergy together.
And what's the participation like?
Yeah, well, it fluctuates. So again, the trainer would have programs to give persons that even if they don't attend the actual physical training, they could pick up on the side. And that's, for instance, like there's the the World Cup and Commonwealth qualifiers taking place in April. We have two persons. Well, we're not feeling a team because of certain things, but we have two representatives going to that tournament. So one would be Chantel John, she's going as an official, and we have Zenia Allen, she's going as a medic. So I've been also working with Chantel on the morning, doing physical and so on with her to get her up and prepared to represent St. Lucia.
Let me ask you a question, because one thing I must say, the time is just... Who can play rugby? What makes a good team? What is the spirit of rugby? What is not acceptable in rugby? And what are the benefits of playing rugby?
Right, so rugby is labeled a sport for all sizes, all shapes, and all speed, all whatever is your function, there's a position for you. In the sense of what makes a good team, I would say camaraderie.
Okay.
Right. So one of the things I would always drive in, even as myself with my home team back in Trinidad, is that it's a family. Right. So with families, you would have different personalities, you would have different ideologies, and so on. You must be able to come to a common ground, and especially at a national level, you don't have to like the person that you're playing with on the side there. Right. You don't have to be their friend. Right? But if you're patriotic and you want the same common goal of being successful, we have to put the pettiness behind and focus on the goals. In the sense of the spirit of rugby, it's the ethos is to always achieve your best. And like for instance, St. Lucia's rugby ethos is a good attitude, right, would give you your altitude. Right? So your attitude will make you raise your altitude.
And as you mentioned, the attitude and thing, only once in all of the years that I've been to rugby, only once I saw a little ugly scene that, it was quickly put, persons came and just, but I've never seen any big hooray fight or anything. It's as much as it has it's stiff or tough challenges. I think that the players they unite, the high level. There's a high level of camaraderie.
Camaraderie, yes.
Yeah. How they look forward to each other after every game. They tight on the pitch, but after that game is done, dusted, like
everything stays on the field.
Everything stays on the field. I'm not sure. It's amazing how these guys behave after a game. Like it's a brother-sister relationship. But during the time on the field, what? Boy, it's like Ukraine and Russia, boy. I said it as straight to the solution. Wow. Okay. Your final Did I miss out anything? I don't know.
More or less covered everything. One thing I would say is that I believe that St. Lucia Rugby can actually elevate and be on the podium in any competition that they go to, in the sense that they have the skill, they have the talent there, they have the mindset, right? The do or die. It's something that the public need to support also. You know, and if it is your child or your cousin or somebody asks you to say they want to come to play the sport, don't be giving them the negativity of it, because most of the time is the fact that you of yourself don't know. So the easiest thing to do is to actually get in contact with somebody who plays the sport, right? I am always available to have those kind of discussions, so that again it's something that it will change the whole mindset. And even like with rugby in comparison to other sports, it builds into a kind of mental fortitude that is above par. So you're always working for excellence, you know, and it emulates not only on the field, it emulates off the field, you know. So from that point, I would say support the union. The players are working hard to represent the country, right? And stay tuned for events. Once we have events, show up and see for yourself.
But I said I was also wrap it up with you. But I know you have the Moshi, Rogues, and Whiptail. Did I miss any team?
All right. So there's Moshi. Well, the Moshi Renegades will be the next team, and there's Renegades, Whiptail, Moshi Sharks, and the Rogues.
And I simply hope.
And well, then, and coming out of the program that we're doing here, there will actually be two youth teams coming out from the south. One will be formed as an academy team, right? And off the academy team, then there will be two club format. They'll basically be young players coming through the mix.
But what I will love to see is more females get involved in the sport. Not only rugby, but sports in general in St. Lucia.
Well, from my interaction with the schools and them down south, the females are just as eager as the boys, and they actually asking when they could play contact.
Okay, interesting.
Right, so
I agree. You know, I have a score here from Castries football, and of course the Castries League opening match: VSADC 2, Flow Lancers FC 0. Goal scorers: Alton Henry and Shakil de Gazon. Again, Castries League, game 1, VSADC 2, Flow Lancers FC 0. Goal scorers: Alton Henry and Shakil de Gazon. I was anticipating scores from Viewfort in terms of the President Cup, but that's not been forthcoming. I guess that match may have started late or something, because it should have been half time now. But yet again, that's it for me. As always, I have my 1 cent. And of course, as always, I want to extend my greetings, whatever anniversary that we celebrated this past week, birthday, wedding, whatever it was, 50 years at the workplace, you know. Those celebrating next week, I'm referring from tomorrow down. I wish you all God's richest blessings and protection. And of course, you will see many, many more birthdays and anniversaries. And as always, those who lost a loved one, we extend our sincerest condolences to you as you commence your period of mourning. And as always, St. Lucia, there's been a little relax in the COVID. We ask you all to please continue to observe the many protocols, like the Minister for Health, Moses Jabadi, said, and the CMO. The COVID is still there, so we still need to protect ourselves, all right, and play our part. Be responsible, all right. Of course, to our motorists, I'm begging you as always to drive with due care and attention. Of course, we lost a young man today on a motorcycle. Again, to his family, our sincerest condolences. As always, I want to thank you for coming, Wayne Panther, Technical Director of the St. Lucia Rugby Football Union. of course, it's not going to be the first nor the last as you unfold your program for 2022 going forward to 2023.
Yes.
We will be talking a lot more. I just want to thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And all the very best in your team preparation and, of course, the improvement and the quality that we look for in terms of rugby on island. Again, I want to thank you.
Okay.
St. Lucia, Debo, thank you for watching, both near and far. I'm gone.